Right at 6:13, a woman lost her husband in the emergency room, and a month later, she was still waiting for someone to sign his death certificate.
With nowhere else to turn, she told the hospital she was going to KENS 5. Reporter Andrew Moore tells us what happened next.
Mary Hull's husband passed away on April 8th of this year. He died while in the emergency room, but his body was then at a funeral home for weeks because no doctor would sign the death certificate. Still, after KENS 5 got involved, the hospital was able to find a solution.
He came to the top of the stairs and he yelled my name. He said, "Chris, something's wrong."
Randall Hull started to feel numb the evening of April 8th, and his wife Mary called the ambulance immediately. But Mary said her husband coded before he even got to a room, and they couldn't bring him back. So all she could do was say goodbye.
They let me spend some time with him.
A few days later, Hull started trying to make the final arrangements, but she soon found there was a problem. The ER doc hadn't signed the death certificate, and no one else would sign it either, so they couldn't move forward.
We cannot perform any cremation. We cannot plan any memorial. I cannot access any of the funds that we had planned on.
Hull said she called the hospital multiple times, as did the funeral home, but they never provided a solution. So finally, 1 month after her husband's passing, she walked into the hospital and told them she was meeting KENS 5.
I did tell them. I said, I have an appointment this afternoon with KENS 5, and I just, I need to see if there's a way that this can be resolved.
Hull said she was then able to speak with a patient advocate about the situation. KENS 5 also met Hull later that day and sent the hospital information on this story. Less than 24 hours later, the death certificate was signed.
It's a huge relief. It felt like a weight had been lifted off of me.
KENS 5 reached out to Krista Santa Rosa for a response, and they sent a statement that said, in part, "We are confident in our processes as well as the appropriateness of our handling of these matters in a respectful manner that provides dignity and compassion to all involved." Hull said she hopes the process improves so this doesn't happen to someone else, but she's also thankful it got solved after she called KENS 5.
KENS 5 absolutely helped resolve this. I have no doubt in my mind that if I had not used that route, that it still would be an issue today.
KENS 5 did ask Krista Santa Rosa if there was a way to improve that process. They declined to answer our question. For Call KENS, Andrew Moore, KENS 5.
If you have an issue you can't get resolved, give us a call, 210-470-KENS. Head to KENS5.com/call KENS. Fill out the form, tell us what the problem is. We'll see if we can't make some calls and get things resolved for you. And that's something the legislature needs to take up, is whoever calls that death needs to sign that death certificate right then and there and be done with it.
Right, yep.
Yeah, we've had issues
no
like that,
excuse for
right?
that.
Before,
yes.
stories like
I
this?
did a story with this with a gentleman here in town. The exact same thing, and the doctor that was there refused to sign that death certificate because he wasn't registered in the system.
Seems like a bigger issue, for sure.